boy was I wrong. Welcome back guys to another video. In today's video I'm ranking all of my vanilla fragrances in my collection. And only until when I started actually planning this, I realized how many vanilla vanilla heavy fragrances that I have in my collection. I didn't even realize that it was, to me, a really popular note. I just assumed that I liked something a little bit sweeter. I do tend to find I like a little bit of sweetness in my fragrances, but these are all heavy vanilla fragrances. I wouldn't class any of these as gourmand. I don't like that type of vanilla, but I do enjoy a fluffy, airy type of vanilla. So I'm ranking all of the 9 fragrances that I have here. Also, I know a few of you like my vlog style videos, and I will be going fragrance shopping this weekend in London, so I'm very, very excited. So it won't be this video that you'll be seeing, it will be the next video, so the Saturday following that will be the long vlog video. It's going to be a super long vlog, all of the fragrance shopping you can imagine. I'm going to be going to Harrods, Les Senteurs, hopefully Javoy in Mayfair, pretty much any other fragrance store that I can get my hands on. So if you like that style of video, then keep tuned for the next week's kind of roundup, and then you'll see all of the shops that I went into. So yeah, as always, if you like the style of video, please give it a like. It super helps with the channel, and we'll just jump straight into it. So in 9th place, we have a Georges Rech Gold Edition. This is a super cheapie. I think I bought it for something ridiculous, like £11. And this is a very heavy vanilla but white floral type of fragrance. It has a lot of white florals in here, in particular the orange blossom. But to me, this is a very creamy, vanillic kind of fragrance, and it's also very similar to Dior Addict, I find, because you have that orange blossom fluffiness but then that deeper resinous fluffy type of vanilla. I believe you also have musk in here, which makes it a little bit more creamy. So it's almost as if Love Don't Be Shy from Kilian and Dior Addict kind of had a baby, but this is a little bit more watered down. This isn't a super heavy fragrance. Very easy to wear, easygoing, feminine, and just overall a very beautiful fragrance. I don't really want to talk or ramble too much in this video, so basically this is my 9th place. The only reason why I think it's probably the lowest on the list is it's quite generic smelling. It's not something super unique, but is it easy to wear, 100% fizzy, white floral with a very creamy, fluffy vanilla. So yeah, that is Gold Edition from Georges Rech. The next fragrance I have is Oud Blanc from Van Cleef and Arpels. This is primarily a oudi, vanillic, musky kind of fragrance. Very straightforward, but also very well done. The vanilla in here is almost smelling a bit more like vanilla extract. It's quite rich, dark, and deep, but also has this airy, fluffy quality to it, and I think that's coming from musk. The musk in here almost gives me a slight cashmerean type of vibe, where it's very enveloping, super soft, cuddly, cloudy almost. That's the best way that I can describe it. The oud in here is non-animalic, it's just resinous, rich, woody. It doesn't have any type of animalic oudy quality that you might not enjoy. Realistically, it probably doesn't contain real oud. To me, this is a very soft oud accord, probably again using cypriol and these types of accords to make up the oud. But as I said, very easy to go, easy wearing, and that's why it's in 8th place. It's not a super unique fragrance, but I do think it's really well done. So that's Oud Blanc. In 7th place, we have Vanille Fatale from Tom Ford, and I know a lot of you might be surprised that it's a bit lower down in the list, but the only reason why it's a bit lower is because I find it sometimes really hard to wear. It's a very, very rich vanilla fragrance, super dark and boozy. Almost has like a little bit of a gourmand feel to it. The vanilla in here is so deep and dark. It almost, this sounds so bizarre, but this is the best way that I can describe it. It smells like Play-Doh, like boozy Play-Doh in the nicest possible way. It's creamy, it's dark, it's enveloping. It also has some spicy resins in here as well, which really makes the fragrance smell a little bit more on the gourmand side, a little bit balsamic. It's a fantastic fragrance, probably one of the best fragrances from Tom Ford. I think it's really well done. The only thing is I do find it to be quite deep, dark, and a little bit too rich. This is definitely more of a winter type of fragrance, and that's why I said it's a little bit lower in the list. If it was maybe a bit brighter and easier to wear, it would definitely be higher in the list. But this is probably one of the most realistic vanilla type of fragrances that you can get. So that's Vanille Fatale. In sixth place, we have Dior Addict. This is probably one of the best designer fragrances to have ever been released. This is an insanely good fragrance. Wow, this is vanilla on steroids. It's a very sweet, creamy vanilla, and again has that boozy type of quality in the base. It's dark, it's rich, it's enveloping. What I love about this is you have the contrast between the white florals, the tartness of that in the beginning, and then that rich benzoin tonka vanilla thing that's going on in the base. That tonka note almost adds like this marzipan-y but non-gourmand feel to the fragrance. I find tonka to be very similar to almonds or almonds, however way you pronounce it. The only difference being is it's a little bit less marzipan-y and it's a bit more nutty and creamy. So the tonka mixed with vanilla in this fragrance really makes it smell very rich, creamy, and warm. It's a really fantastic fragrance. I did say in one of my Ormonde Jayne videos that it really reminds me of Tolu from Ormonde Jayne. They were both released in the same year, I think it was 2002, and they're both very, very similar. The only difference being is that one has like Tolu balsam. This does have resins in the base, but it's more benzoin, as I said, mixed with some nutty qualities like tonka, etc. So if you do like something a bit darker, richer, and sweeter, then I think you'd really enjoy this. So that's Dior Addict. Right, so I think so if that was 9, 8, 7, 6, this must be the fifth fragrance. So fifth in the ranking list. This is a really fantastic choice from Bvlgari. This is called Baciami, if I've pronounced it correctly. I think one of you mentioned how to pronounce it correctly. It's either Baciami or Baciami, but I'm pretty sure that it's Baciami. Again, this is an Italian house, so I'm trying my best to pronounce it correctly. This is, again, a very simplistic vanilla fragrance, but this is not gourmand vanilla whatsoever. This is a very deep vanilla type of fragrance, but also mixed with a very sweet gardenia note. Probably one of my most favorite white florals out there. It's very clean, but also fluffy. To me, it smells, and don't get me wrong, don't take this the wrong way, but almost like laundry detergent. It has that soft cashmerean type of vibe within gardenia. Typically, a lot of white florals have a pungent smell, and that's to attract bees and different insects because obviously they're not colored very brightly. So that's why I think with gardenia in particular, it has this almost very creamy sweetness in it, and I just love it. I think it's a really fantastic note, but also has this fresh laundry detergent type of smell to it. And what I love about this, it's creamy, rich, white floral detergent, and also has this underlying musk that runs through it. So it's very cuddly, cozy. This is perfect for the winter. I was actually gifted this for Christmas. I think it was last year or the year before, and I absolutely adore it. Literally every single time that I wear this in the winter, it just reminds me of that Christmas, and it brings really nice memories. I absolutely love this fragrance, and yeah, so that's Baciami from Bvlgari. Next, in fourth place, we have none other than Ylang in Gold Nectar from Micallef. This is for people who like a more tropical smelling type of fragrance, something a little bit fruity, maybe a little bit more delicate. I've had a lot of compliments off of this fragrance, and I am really tempted to get another bottle. I've ran out. I had 3 backup bottles. I'm not even joking. I had 3 of the bottles in my collection, all of the same no, 2 were just Ylang in Gold, and then this one is Ylang Gold in Nectar. So that's how much I love the fragrance. I'm really tempted to get the 100ml of it because I think it's on sale at the moment on All Beauty and you can get a really good deal. So I'm very tempted to get it. But this is a fruity cocktail. So almost imagine like you're making fruit salad, right? You're adding melons, you're adding strawberries, some other red fruits in here as well, even some mango maybe. And then on top of this fruit salad, you're then adding a dollop of vanilla ice cream straight on top, all enveloped by this really beautiful musky woodiness in the base. this is a dream of a fragrance. Almost has like a coconutty banana-esque type of vibe in this. The vanilla in here is creamy, it's delicate, it's almost going a little bit tropical. This is like vanilla, like Madagascan vanilla, right? Like Madagascan vanilla extract that you would find maybe in ice cream, but again doesn't go into that gourmand realm because you have a mixture of fruits and florals in this fragrance, so it's all very well balanced. Probably my most favorite fragrance out of all of the Micallefs, although I've tried a lot of their fragrances over the years, even the discontinued ones. But still, every single time I just tend to go back and reach for this fragrance. It's like a very addictive, and it has this allure to it where it's very feminine and very sweet, but it's also mature. To me, this does not smell like a young, childish fragrance whatsoever, even though it does lean a little bit more fruity floral. It just has that added vanilla depth and then also this woodiness that's going on. It's really an incredible fragrance. So if you've never tried it, try Ylang Gold in Nectar from Micallef. Oh, now we're in the top 3. This is I always find this part to be the most overwhelming because it's, you know, it's so hard sometimes ranking fragrances because everyone has very different tastes, and what they would maybe think would be the best vanilla might not be the way that I see the best vanilla. But that's also the beauty of fragrance world in general. Everyone has very different opinions, and maybe you guys might agree with me. In third place we have La Danza, Delle, Libellue from Nobile 1942. I think I've said this before, but I have already done a dedicated video for this specific fragrance. It was kindly sent to me from the Scent City, and they are an incredible website. I'll link their website below, and also my link to this fragrance, because again, you can get some really amazing samples from their website, including for this one. If you've ever been interested in buying it, I'd recommend that you try their website. But anyway, this to me is vanilla on steroids, but in the nicest possible way, and I've described it really in depth, where you have this cool and warm vanilla. And I find sometimes with vanilla, it's not always just warm, right? You also have this coolness that comes with it, like vanilla icing sugar, for example, vanilla pods. You know, when you're taking out the vanilla from the pod itself, you kind of have like this cold, icy sweetness that comes from it. And I think this really does both justice. So you have the cold vanilla and the warm vanilla. In the top, it's very bright. You have bergamot, you have some other citruses, and it almost smells like iced citruses in the top. And then you have this slightly warm apple cinnamony type of vanilla in the base. But again, it's not overwhelming. It's both sweet, delicate, and airy all at the same time. So that's why I thought it would be 100% in third place, because you have such a great balance of all the... Sorry, my camera dies like literally every single video. I must get maybe a longer battery or something, or a better disc. I don't know, I need to work it out. What I was saying is that out of all of the fragrances, this is probably the most well balanced out of all of them, because you have the brightness, you have the sweetness, you have the spiciness, and then you have the warmth in the base. This has every aspect of vanilla you could possibly imagine. 100% would recommend that you give it a go. So from Nobile 1942, this is La Danza, Delle, Libellue. Right, in spot number 2, we have none other than Vanille des Afriques from Ormonde. This is one of the best vanillas I've ever tried in my life. I remember when it first launched in Selfridges, I was just roaming around. I think this was like a year ago or so now. And, you know, I wasn't really looking forward to another vanilla release. I think vanilla tends to be overdone so many times. And I thought to myself, I really love Ormonde, but in my head, I'll be honest with you guys, I wasn't really that interested to try it. I just thought it'd be like another vanilla fragrance. Boy, was I wrong. This thing is insanely good. This is like the opposite of a gourmand vanilla. So this is technically a little bit more woody. I said in one of my other videos, I think it was in my Ormonde fragrances for men, I used to have a fragrance called Vanille d'Iris. I think that's how you pronounce the Vanille d'Iris, or something Vanilla Iris. And I smelled that fragrance some years back, and I thought it was really incredible. It had carrot seed, a lot of orris and iris in this fragrance. And genuinely, I think they've just revived that fragrance, but maybe added some more, maybe different types of vanilla within this one. So this is predominantly an orris and vanilla masterpiece. The orris in here is ever so slightly lipsticky, but to me I'm getting more of that buttery creamy iris and iris, so you can't really extract from iris itself, so typically it would be from orris root, and orris root tends to be very creamy, nutty, and that's sometimes where it goes into that lipsticky vintage type of realm. I'm just going to spray a little bit in the air just to remind myself. Yeah, so the top is just quite citrusy, lipsticky, but then very soon goes into that buttery type of realm, and to me this smells like you've just sliced butter with vanilla pods on the side. That is exactly how I can picture this fragrance. It's not sweet, it's not too gourmand, but it has that creaminess from the Madagascan vanilla and from bourbon vanilla. It does sit a little bit close to the skin, so if you do want a more projecting fragrance, I would not recommend you buy this because, as I said, it is a little bit more intimate. But yeah, honestly, an absolute masterpiece from Ormonde Jayne. I really love this, and a lot of people have been hyping this, and for really good reason. And if you do want to get a 10% discount, I do have a code with Ormonde Jayne, so you can use that if you want to save a little bit of money, because I know a lot of you guys are really interested in this one and have already bought the fragrance, whether you've gone fragrance shopping, etc. So yeah, that is Vanille des Afriques from Ormonde Jayne. So why am I so nervous about revealing the top number one? I think because I don't want people to judge me and say, oh my god, this is definitely not the best vanilla. Again, this is all subjective, and I just feel as though I really need to get this in number one. I feel like I'm revealing a really dark secret, but this is, to me, the best vanilla on the market. It's not the truest vanilla, don't get me wrong, it really isn't, but the way this has been created is heavenly. I'm really intrigued what you guys will guess would be my number one in the comments, but the number one fragrance for vanilla is La Bella Cibeles from Loewe. It's so strange. It's hard for me to get a visceral reaction from fragrances anymore because I have so many, well, I don't have that many in my collection, but because I have been wearing fragrances for so many years, it's hard for a fragrance to really wow me. And when I first smelled this blew my socks off. It's not an overly unique fragrance, but the balance craft in this fragrance is top tier. This is iced bergamot, citrus is in the top, mixed with this very creamy iris rose mid, followed by an angelic cloudy vanilla. But to me, it smells like fairy dust, vanilla icing sugar mixed with creamy orris. When I have been wearing this fragrance, it's probably been my most complimented out of all of them. I think I said in my most complimented video that when I was at a wedding for one of my best friends, and this girl and I were getting on really, really well, and she said to me, oh my gosh, you smell so good. And I said, oh well, thank you very much, I really appreciate it. But to the point where she was so obsessed with the fragrance that she first of all took a picture of it. Second of all, I just sprayed it all over her because she really enjoyed it that much. And when I sprayed it on her skin, again, really worked so well with her chemistry, and it smelled incredible. It's so feminine, has an aura around it that you can't really get in other fragrances, and it does last really well. It has a really great projection and scent bubble around you. God willing, I'll do a collab one day with Loewe, because the amount of times that I've talked about this fragrance to people who've also bought it as well based on my recommendations, and they've said that they've super enjoyed it as well. It just really warms my heart because, you know, there's no better compliment out there in the world to me than when you really love a fragrance and somebody else buys it and they love it equally as much as you do. But anyway, this to me is the best vanilla on the market. Super feminine, very easy to wear. So La Bella Cibeles from Loewe. Right guys, that is it for today's video. I really hope that you enjoyed. As I said, I am going to be doing a super long vlog soon, and that will be fragrance shopping, and I know a lot of you guys love watching that type of content. So yeah, hope you guys have a lovely weekend, and I'll catch you soon. Bye guys.